So our next chapter book for second grade is called Zeke, Meeks versus the Horrendous Halloween by D.L. Green. And here we have getting ready for Halloween costumes, some chattering teeth, and this spider. And he says, "What's got 8 legs and a hairy body?" This guy. And then we have our table of contents, which is going to show us all the different chapters inside our book. Chapter 1, Singing Sisters and Scary Spiders Are Not Super Duper. My greatest hero is the genius who invented Halloween. It's the perfect holiday. Halloween is the only night the kids can wear cool costumes and knock on strangers' doors and get free candy. So I was excited when I went to the Halloween Super Duper store with my family. Well, not everyone in my family was there. My dad was away, fighting bad guys on a top secret mission. He's a soldier. Waggles, our dog, wasn't there at the Halloween Super Duper store either. If Waggles had been there, he probably would have drooled on everything, especially the hamburger costumes. "Let's get our stuff fast. This place is horrible," said Mom. The store was very noisy and crowded. A baby was crying, people were pushing and elbowing us, and a little girl kept shouting, "I want candy now!" But I liked the Halloween Super Duper store. It had great costumes and decorations. My little sister Mia ran over to a Princess Sing-Along costume. She said, "I want to be Princess Sing-Along this year." Now, that wasn't exactly shocking news. Mia had dressed as Princess Sing-Along for the last 2 Halloweens. I wish she'd get tired of Princess Sing-Along. I'd been tired of her for years, ever since Mia first started watching the Princess Sing-Along TV show and screeching annoying Princess Sing-Along songs. Mia started singing a Princess Sing-Along song in the middle of the store. I put my finger over my lips and said, "Shh," but Mia ignored me. She screeched, "Everyone is special, la, la, la. Even people who look dreadful, la, la, la. Don't feel that you have to change, la, la, la. It's okay to act real strange, la, la, la." Mom said, "Shh." Mia finally stopped singing. Alexa, my older sister, pointed to a bikini. She said, "I want to wear this bathing beauty costume." "You are not walking around the neighborhood in a bikini," said Mom. Alexa pointed to another costume. "How about this fairy costume?" "A fairy in a halter top and a mini skirt? No," said Mom. Alexa held up a cheerleader costume. "That is the shortest cheerleading skirt I've ever seen. I'm not buying that for you. How about this one instead?" Mom pointed to a beach ball costume. "No," Alexa said. I picked up the beach ball costume. It was bright and round and funny. "This is perfect," I said. "No, it's not. It's bright and round and funny," Alexa said. "It's perfect for me. I found a great costume. I bet I'd be the only kid at my school dressed as a beach ball." "Are you sure that's the costume you want? You can't change your mind, and I refuse to come back to the store until next Halloween," Mom said. I nodded. "I'm sure this is the costume I want." After more arguing, Mom and Alexa finally agreed on a witch's costume. Mom said she'd never seen such a tight witch's dress, but at least it covered Alexa's stomach. Mom also said she needed some aspirin and a long nap. When we left the costume aisle to look for Halloween decorations for our house, I held up a large bloody skull and said, "Let's get this." "That's too scary. I don't want to frighten the little kids," said Mom. "I want this." Mia pointed to a scarecrow wearing a flowery hat and a pink dress. I shook my head. "It's more of a girly decoration than a Halloween decoration." "How about this? We can hang it on our front door," Alexa said. She picked up the very worst thing in the entire store, a big green spider. "That will scare little kids," I said. "I'm a little kid, and that spider doesn't scare me at all," said Mia. Mom looked at the price tag. She said, "This is a very good choice. It doesn't cost much, and it's only a little scary." A little scary? It was extremely scary, to me anyway. Insects terrify me. Even plastic insects scare me. Spiders aren't really insects. They have 8 legs and 8 eyes, while insects only have 6 legs and 2 eyes. But spiders' 2 extra legs and 6 extra eyes make them even scarier than insects. The last thing I wanted on my front door was a big green spider. But I was too embarrassed to tell anyone that. Instead, I said, I don't like that spider. Why not? I don't like its size, I said. It was much too big. Mom nodded. You're right. It's not a good size. It's too small. Too small? Alexa picked up an even bigger green spider. It was the size of my entire body. Here's one that's a good size, and it's on sale. It doesn't cost much more than the smaller one, see? She thrust the gigantic spider at my face. I ran away. Where are you going? Mom called after me. Are you scared of a plastic spider? Alexa asked. No, of course not. I'm just going to the bathroom. I really did have to go now. The spider had scared me so much I nearly peed my pants. Once we bought the gigantic green spider home and hung it on our front door, I'd probably have to use the bathroom every 5 minutes. Chapter 2, Uncool at School. In class the next day, I was so excited about Halloween that it was hard to concentrate. Actually, it's always hard to concentrate on class, but it's especially hard before Halloween. My teacher, Mr. McNutty, wrote the numbers 3, 30, and 300 on the whiteboard. Let's do some math. Who knows what the common multiplier is here? He asked. Lori Schneider raised her hand and said, I'm going to be a vampire for Halloween. Lori, a vampire isn't a multiplier. Vampires have nothing to do with math, said Mr. McNutty said. Count Dracula is a vampire. Count Dracula. Counting is how I do math, Lori said. Speaking of counting, there's only one day left before Halloween, I said. Lori and Zeke, focus on math, Mr. McNutty said. Mr. McNutty pointed back to the whiteboard. Let's get back to our figures. Okay, I figure I'll get a lot of candy, I said. Mr. Meeks, my teacher said. I stopped goofing off. When Mr. McNutty called me Mr. Meeks, I knew he was really upset with me. He said, I'm getting very close to sending you to the print. The recess bell rang before Mr. McNutty could say principal or principal's office or principality. I doubted he was going to say principality. I didn't even know what that word meant. But he was probably very close to sending me to the principal's office. So I was happy the bell rang. At recess, my best friend Hector Cruz and I played basketball against Owen Leach and Rudy Morse. It was a great game. The score was tied. Then Grace Chang came over. Behind her were Emma G, Emma J, and Lori Schneider. It's our turn to play, said Grace. Yeah, it's our turn to play, said Emma G. Yeah, it's our turn to play, Emma J said. Our game is almost over. Wait a minute or two. Suddenly, I felt fingernails on my cheek. They weren't just ordinary fingernails. They were Grace Chang's fingernails. Grace was short and skinny, but extremely evil. Her brain was evil, and her mouth was evil. But her brain and mouth weren't even the top 10 evil things about Grace. The most evil of all were her long, sharp fingernails. She used them to rip people's faces off. I hadn't witnessed an actual face rip-off, and I didn't know any kids who had gotten their faces ripped off, but I had heard that Grace had ripped people's faces off. Mostly I heard it from Grace. So I gave her the basketball. Then Rudy, Owen, Hector, and I quickly walked away from her. I wish we didn't have to stop playing basketball. Owen and I would have won that game, Rudy said. Nope, Zeke and I would have won the game, said Hector. No, we would have won. No, we would have won. We took turns saying this for a long time. We won't write down every time we said, no, we would have won the game, because I don't want to bore you to death. Trust me. We said, no, we would have won the game a lot. Finally, I changed the subject. I said, I got a great beach ball costume at the Halloween Super Duper store. Cool, said Hector. Is the beach ball costume gross and ugly and scary? Rudy asked. I shook my head. No, it isn't any of those things. It just looks like a beach ball. I only like gross, scary, and ugly costumes, Rudy said. Is the beach ball costume bright and round and funny? Yes, it's all three of those things, I said. It's uncool for you to wear a bright, round, and funny beach ball costume, Owen said. I frowned. Owen was the most popular kid in 3rd grade. He knew what was cool and what wasn't. He thought my costume was uncool, so that definitely meant that it was. I bet your beach ball costume is cool. Do you want to trick or treat with me? Hector asked. Hector was my best friend and a nice guy, but he wasn't an expert at knowing what was cool like Owen was. I told him, I can't trick or treat with you or anyone else in a beach ball costume. It's uncool. I couldn't even return the costume to the Halloween super duper store. My mom said she wouldn't go back there for another year. I sighed. This was going to be a horrendous Halloween.